All right, this is problem number 47. In this case, we have a coconut. And a coconut, we put a firecracker inside the coconut. And then the firecracker blows up and the coconut flies into three pieces. One piece here goes south with a velocity of v0 and it has a mass of m. Another piece over here goes west with a mass of m, same velocity, so they have the same velocity. And then there's a third piece that flies off over here with a mass of 2m. What we want to find out is the angle. We actually want it from north, but we'll get this angle first and then we'll just subtract it from 90 to get that. And we want to figure out what the velocity is, the final velocity is. Okay? So to do this, this is a two-dimensional momentum problem. So we have to do separate directions. Excuse me. So in the x direction, we're going to do initial momentum is equal to final momentum in the x direction only. Well, the initial momentum is 0 because the coconut had no velocity, it was just sitting there. But the final momentum, and this is, we're going to be m1, m2, remember those are equal though. It's going to the left, so it has a minus velocity, m1 v0. That's the momentum of part 1. Part 2 has no momentum in the x direction because it's totally in the y direction. But the 2m part plus 2m times, and we need only the component of this in the x direction, which is v final cosine of theta. All right, and we can solve that, or we can't really solve it, but let's move this over here so we can get it ready to solve it. Is equal to 2m v final cosine theta. Notice we can divide by m, the m's go away, and this becomes just v0 is equal to 2v final cosine theta. Now we don't know theta, we don't know v final, so we can't solve that. So in the y direction, we're going to say that initial momentum in the y direction is equal to final momentum in the y direction. Again, this is still 0, but the particle 1 has no momentum, it's just particle 2. So this is negative m2 v naught because it's going down, plus 2m, but now we need the y component here, which is v final sine of theta. So this is 2m v final sine theta. And I'm going to, again, move this over and get m2 v naught is equal to 2m v final sine of theta. And then I'm going to divide by m's because these are the same m's. All right, this one's just twice as much as that. So I'm going to end up with v naught is equal to 2v final sine of theta. Now I have v final sine theta and I got two unknowns and two equations. So I'm just going to divide the equations by each other. It's a clever trick, it works really good. So I'm going to take v naught divided by v naught, so I'm just taking this equation and put it right here. And then I'm going to divide this side by 2vf cosine theta. I can do that because they're equal to each other. So as long as you divide both sides by the same value, and since they're equal to the same value, you get the same answer. But v naught over v naught is just 1. And those cancel out, so I'm just left with sine over cosine. But sine over cosine is tangent. And I can say theta is the inverse tangent of 1. And if you remember from your class, theta then has to be equal to 45 degrees. So theta is equal to 45 degrees. We got half of our answer. Now the good thing is we did 45 from here. They wanted it from the north, but guess what? If that's 45, this is also 45. So our answer is 45 degrees east of north. Okay? And then we want the final velocity. So I'm just going to go back to this equation here and say v naught is equal to 2vf cosine theta. But now I know what theta is, it's 45 degrees. I'm going to solve this for v final. So v naught over 2 cosine of 45 degrees is equal to V final. But if you remember from your trig class, V naught over 2, the cosine of 45 is actually equal to the square root of 2 over 2. Okay? Well look, those cancel out. So you end up with the V naught over the square root of 2 is equal to V final. However, we don't like a square root of 2, we don't like a radical on the bottom, so we multiply by square root of 2 over the square root of 2. That becomes 2 on the bottom, so we're going to have V naught is the square root of 2 over 2 is equal to V final. And that is what you want for the second part. For the velocity, this is the angle. So that's how you solve number 47.